This is a revisit of the issue with the clog. I've already had a look. This is a big clog that's going to need the head dismantled. So the very first thing here, to make it easy, obviously lift it up, get our cutter, cut at the top so we get that one out of the way. I think it's actually a problem with this translucent that it's damn near bulletproof, and that's what's causing the issue. But in any case, I need to take the head off, need to take the nozzle off so that I can dismantle better. And the best way to do that is on the front here, we go to our filament, hit load. I know it's not going to load. Actually, I'll cancel that because before I do that, under settings, I want to home the head to give me working space. So that's now giving me working space to work on this printer. It's homed. Now I can go, and I'm going to right, back to where I was. Unlock it so that I can move it around, put it to about there to make it easier to work on. Right, now I go here, hit load. What is going to happen here, I have some thick cloth so that I can get that nozzle off. Now the nozzle will pull off if the filament's hot. So what I'm doing now, as you can see, I'm preheating the nozzle. Once that's preheated, I'm going to turn it off and then pull it off as quickly as I can, because that will get me the nozzle off, and then I'll just have filament either side to deal with. So we're coming up on that now, and I shall see where I can put this to show you the next step. Right, so it's now at the correct temperature. Just trying to pop the... Okay, that looks like it's fine. To show you the next step, it's heating. I am now ready to remove that nozzle. So I go quick, turn it off. Yes, I want to turn off the printer. It's not letting me turn it off. Right, there we go. As soon as it's off, grab and pull. And that means I can get that out like that, and makes it a lot worse. If I let that cool, I might not have been able to get that off easily. So I get that off, put that to the side, make sure you don't burn yourself with your fingers with it, but that is the majority part. Now that we've got that done, we'll do our best to show you. This just pulls off, and then I can unclip that, put that down there. Now we'll be able to move the light a touch. Now I've got that far. This is the part we need to get out, and that will take a few screws, so I'm going to go get that set up, then I'll turn the camera back on again. Okay, we continue. Now, apologies for the rattling, I've got another printer running. But in a nutshell, I use a holder like that just to keep all the nuts and bolts in sequence, so I know where they come from, so I don't put the wrong size in the wrong hole. So the first I have to undo here is this plate. So With that plate undone, I'm able to pull the top bit off and move it to the side. There's a further 2 threads here. Apologies for the one person camera job. That should hopefully be fine now. Okay. Again, put the screws down there. I've now got this pretty much able to move, and I'll unplug the extruder fan. I don't need to unscrew as much as the official video does, because now only 3 of these I'll have the part out. And there's a 3rd one just down the side here. They're quite small, fiddly I suppose, but it's still a lot easier to work on this thing than it is on the bamboo that sits alongside it. It's very finicky. So I will actually use a pair of needle nose pliers there just to get that screw out. This now is able to come completely out, and we have our extruder here. That might be better for light. So that's what the extruder looks like. And it's not actually screwed together, it's pushed together, so this just actually opens up quite easily. You don't even need to unscrew the fan off the side there. Just get fingernails if you have any, pull it in. We're now down to here, which is the mechanism, of which I haven't actually taken the screw off, but okay, we're back here. This is a screw I should have undone earlier, but as the clog was the way it was, I didn't have the need. So that's there. This just pulls out, and you can see that's fairly crapped up with filament that is ruined, and I think that's part of our issue. Anyway, I'll put that down there. this pin here pulls out very easily, and there is the spring, and that's the other part. This is the big cog drives on this one, and that's your little feeder thing there. So that has got that down. Now we can have a look, and then, what do you know, we actually cleared the clog. Where it has been clogging, is actually here, where I think I've had some heat build up, and it forms a slight ball so that it won't go up or down, which is what jams it. And when you get it out this far, you can completely and utterly get that out so that the filament can go all the way through. That's now ready to be reassembled. Okay, we're on macro. See along there? That's where the feed has not been able to grab this properly, and it's chewed one side and not the other side, so it wasn't feeding up or down, and yeah, so that was what was the problem. I don't know if I worn the teeth with it sitting there for a couple of hours whilst I was out with it having a clog that wasn't going through. I'll work that out later. Okay, this is showing you the one of the extruder gears, and as you can see, the white stuff here is all filament remnants. So there's a fair bit of stripped off filament that I've got to deal with there. So I'll move this closer so you can see it's hopefully slightly better. How I'll clean that, that's the methylated spirits, which is pretty harmless. And then I've got this brush. Now I'm twirling the brush in the slot. And what that does is it flicks any little particles out of the slot. And I found these are the best brushes to do that. So again, we get to the other one. We can see here, same sort of problem. And by twirling the brush, I'm able to brush along the groove and get all the filament stuff, because if the valleys are full, it will not bite properly. So that's those two cleaned. We then have to go back to our extruder part, which we look at here, and then we've got to look at reassembly. So reassembly is pretty easy. This here goes in and it's pushed there. It's pushed by this little spring. So this spring has a screw that goes in, and that's the screw on the side that when you tighten it pushes that in to get more grip. So we push that pin in, so it's now fine and pivoting. You can see down there, so when the screw is tightened, it pushes that bucket with the screw, which then puts tension onto the extruder. This is the other part of the extruder. So once that's loaded in, we can now put the cap on the extruder. These are nice compared with some of the other models. It's all pretty good there, and that's now in. When that's tightened up, we'll have tension on it, and that will be fine. there's a couple of little hooks here to keep the power cable out of the way. So that's now done and ready to go back into the printer, which I'll move to in a second. We're now on the reassemble. So as you can see, this part here, that's where the screw goes in for the tension and the fan at the side. This pretty much just slips down nicely into there without pinching the wires. That's now in the right spot. We of course make sure we get that little wire there to go around its two little hook spots to keep the wire in a place it won't get pinched. And then we start the assembly. So at this, I'm now grabbing the appropriate screws. That's one. I'll put in the difficult one here that's almost behind the cable. That's the second one. And then the third one there. Apologies if the lighting's not perfect, but it's what I have to work with. Okay. At this, there's two more plugs here. First plug is just here. These are keyed, you can't put them in the wrong way. That's that one. And while I'm at it, I can put in the little fan one here. That's all plugged up. As you can see, everything is plugged up. If I get out of the light, then this is capable of going back on. So we're on to our next level of screws. Again, it's hard to do this without being in the light, so to speak. Move this that way. When they have that motherboard tacked down. And this can go in the next level. That clips in. Then we have the two top screws which go in like so. and at that point it clips in the top. Now do not forget the all important tension screw. I'll move the camera now so you can see the tension screw. The tension screw goes in the side here. That's that screw there that goes into the little bucket thing, and it provides tension to the feeding cog. So that's on that you unscrew so that you don't damage your teeth if you ever use that the bow tool to push stuff through. So that now gets screwed in. Shortly it will have the tension up. The last bit here is it pushing and providing tension to the rollers. So there you have it. We now have that completely done. We now have tension on the feeding cog. We'll be able to feed in the filament, and that's all correct. Now one handy hint on these things when you do it, apart from using a container like that so you don't lose stuff, if you ever drop a screw, you want one of these. I'll crank that on a bit. That is a magnet with a light, and it's used for fetching little magnetic parts. So if you've dropped a screw in dark carpet and it's a dark screw, run that over the carpet, you'll see it and it will pick it up. And that can save you absolutely hours. So these tools are magnificent. Get them in a motoring store. They're just a little LED and battery. You just twist them on and they are a lifesaver. Okay, well that's the job finished. We'll now be able to wind the filament up and hopefully go on our merry way.